The moment you stopped feeling truly seen, it began. That subtle gnawing ache in your chest that whispers, "I am not enough." It's a universal wound, one that drives us relentlessly, sometimes ruinously, in the pursuit of love. For centuries, poets, philosophers, and romantics have told us that love is something you find out there, a missing half, a perfect match, a light that saves you from the darkness. They lied. And this single profound truth, unearthed by the depths of Carl Jung's psychology, is the only key you will ever need to unlock real, lasting, soul-deep connection. This isn't another self-help cliché about loving yourself. This is a surgical dive into the unconscious mechanics of your relationships, and it will change how you see every person you've ever loved, every person who has ever left, and most importantly, the person staring back at you in the mirror. Imagine a man. Let's call him Alex. Alex is brilliant, successful, charming. Yet his relationships follow a predictable, agonizing pattern. He falls for women who are emotionally distant, unavailable, or who eventually abandon him. He pours his energy, his resources, his entire identity into trying to earn their love, only to be left shattered, asking the same desperate question, why am I never enough? The answer, Jung would reveal, has absolutely nothing to do with the women he chooses. It has everything to do with the shadow he refuses to see. The shadow is the psychological term for everything you deem unacceptable about yourself, the parts you push down, repress, and deny. Perhaps Alex was taught that vulnerability is weakness, so he buried his true, sensitive self deep within. This rejection creates a void, a deep chasm where his authentic self should reside. The world, Jung observed, is merely a canvas onto which we project our inner landscape. Therefore, Alex's external reality is a perfect, agonizing mirror of his internal abandonment. Now here is the crucial, mind-bending mechanism. What you deny within yourself, you endlessly seek or unconsciously project onto the external world. Alex doesn't chase unavailable women by accident. He is unconsciously drawn to them because they embody the emotional distance he maintains from his own authentic self. He is trying to get them to love him in a way he refuses to love himself. He seeks external validation to fill an internal void, a void created by the abandonment of his own shadow. Every relationship becomes a desperate attempt to integrate his rejected parts through another person, a mission doomed to fail. Because no human being is capable of completing a psychological task that is exclusively yours. Until Alex acknowledges the fearful, needy, rejected parts of himself, his shadow, he will be stuck in this agonizing loop. He is not looking for a partner, he is looking for a mirror to reflect the love he abandoned inside. The illusion is that you need a partner to complete you. The truth is, until you are whole, any partner you find will only serve to highlight your fragmentation. The pursuit of love, as we commonly practice it, is often not a quest for connection, but a desperate flight from self-confrontation. This foundational misunderstanding is the first great deception, and realizing it is the first step toward freedom. We are not seeking love. We are seeking the reunion with the self we lost. This psychological reunion is what makes you whole, and only a whole person can form a whole bond. The world will ask you who you are, and if you do not know, the world will tell you. That is the first lesson of the shadow. If the shadow is the part you actively suppress, Jung also introduced the concept of the Anima in men and the Animus in women, the unconscious opposite gender characteristics within us. These are the powerful, often mysterious archetypes that shape who we are attracted to and how we relate. Think of the Anima as the inner representation of the feminine soul, intuition, and emotionality within a man, and the Animus as the inner representation of masculine drive, assertiveness, and intellect within a woman. When these internal figures are unintegrated, they become the tyrannical dictators of our love lives. They turn into the idealized fantasy we project on every new romantic interest, a figure so perfect and magnetic that they feel like destiny. This is the second great deception, mistaking a powerful internal projection for a genuine external connection. We fall in love not with a person, but with the carrier of our anima or animus. Consider Sarah. She's a high-achieving, fiercely independent professional, accustomed to dominating her career. Yet she consistently falls for charismatic, emotionally volatile, and unreliable partners, the bad boys of her cast. Why? Because her internal animus, her drive for mastery, control, and logic, is fully developed and dominates her conscious life. But her anima, the part connected to her inner emotional life, spontaneity, and vulnerability, remains repressed and childish. The men she chooses are not real. They are living manifestations of her unintegrated emotional, wild, and unpredictable internal life. They are the exciting chaos she can't allow herself to be. She is drawn to their volatility because subconsciously she is hoping their drama will force her to confront her own buried emotions. When the initial euphoria of the projection fades, as it always does, because no human can sustain an archetypal role, she is left with a real, flawed human being who can't possibly live up to the impossible archetypal fantasy she superimposed on them. The relationship collapses, and she moves on to the next person who carries the glow of her internal projection. This continuous cycle is the ultimate sabotage, ensuring that every relationship is a temporary stage for an internal drama, rather than a true meeting of two souls. The process of integration is the antidote, the path to breaking the cycle. Integration means consciously bringing the shadow and the anima and animus out of the darkness of the unconscious and into the light of awareness. It is the painful yet ultimately liberating process of saying, yes, I am a bit weak and I am also a bit arrogant. Yes, I am emotionally needy and I am also incredibly independent. I am all of these things. When you integrate these parts, two miraculous things happen. First, the intensity of your projections dissipates. You stop needing others to carry your unlived life for you. And second, and most critically, you stop being a psychological magnet for the very people who embody your own unhealed wounds. You raise your internal operating frequency, demanding wholeness from the world because you have delivered it to yourself. Jung's insight is radical because it flips the script on what causes relationship failure. It's not a lack of effort, timing, or compatibility. It is the fundamental lack of self-possession. If you are not in possession of your whole self, you will forever chase that missing part in the eyes of a stranger. No one will love the true you until you first retrieve the scattered pieces of your soul. This is not about being perfect, but about being complete. You become an entire solar system rather than a desperate planet orbiting another's light. Only then does love cease to be a desperate transaction. I will be enough if you love me, and become a genuine, overflowing communion between two whole, self-aware individuals. The moment you commit to this inner work, to becoming the hero of your own soul, the nature of your relationships transforms from dependency to destiny. The third deception is the most difficult to shed, the belief that love is a feeling of need. We are programmed to see the desperate desire for a partner as passion, when often it is merely the echo of our abandonment wounds crying out for rescue. But Jung shows us that authentic love is not born of need. It is born of wholeness. When you embrace your shadow and integrate your anima animus, your internal world shifts. You no longer enter a room seeking to be validated. You enter a room embodying your worth. The quality of people you attract changes instantly and dramatically. You stop being drawn to the emotionally unavailable because your integrated self doesn't have an abandoned void that needs their distance to feel familiar. You start recognizing and being drawn to people who are also doing their inner work, people who are also whole. This is the difference between a codependent attachment, which is based on filling a mutual lack, and a conscious union, which is based on sharing a mutual overflow. In a conscious union, your partner is not your source of happiness, but your co-explorer. They become the most accurate mirror for your growth, not your fragmentation. When conflict inevitably arises, you no longer immediately blame them or flee. Instead, you ask the Jungian question: what is this conflict showing me about my own unconscious? If their criticism stings, it's not just about their words, it's about the part of you that still fears the truth in their words. You use the relationship as a crucible for your own self-development. This is the ultimate gift of integration. The end of projection is the beginning of intimacy. Let's delve deeper into the practical application of this truth. The work of integration is primarily accomplished through shadow work. This is the process of shining the light of consciousness on your deepest, most hidden fears, resentments, and perceived moral failings. It involves observing your intense emotional reactions to others. For instance, if you are disproportionately angered by arrogance in others, Jung suggests that you are repressing your own feelings of intellectual superiority or the desire to be acknowledged. If you are repulsed by clinginess, you are likely denying your own deep need for connection and intimacy. The world is constantly feeding you clues about your unintegrated self. Your emotional triggers are merely signposts pointing the way to your hidden gold. The goal of shadow work is not to eliminate these traits, you can't, but to own them. When you own your bad temper, you gain control over it. When you own your shameful neediness, you can articulate it in a healthy, integrated way, rather than acting it out through manipulation or passive aggression. This act of self-possession is profoundly attractive, not because you become perfect, but because you become authentic. Authenticity is the ultimate magnet for genuine, lasting love. An authentic person does not fear being seen, because they have already seen, accepted, and embraced all of themselves. They stop wearing the persona, the social mask, and allow their true self to emerge. It is the true self, the integrated self, that is capable of receiving and giving true love. Consider the energy shift. When you are operating from a place of fragmentation, you leak energy. You constantly scan the environment for threats, for validation, for clues on how to behave to please others. This frantic, needy energy repels true connection and attracts only those who are looking to feed off that neediness. But when you are integrated, your energy is contained. You are calm, stable, and radiant. You become the epicenter of your own life, and people are drawn to that quiet, powerful stability. This is why Jung said that until you make the subconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. The supposed bad luck in your love life is simply your unconscious running the show, repeating the patterns of self-abandonment until you step in and take charge. The pain of repeated rejection is the signal that the deepest part of you is demanding that you come home to yourself. There is no greater calling. To become whole is to become love itself. Now, we must confront the hardest part of this entire journey, the fear of being truly whole. Why do we resist integration? Because the shadow, though painful, is familiar. To let go of the neediness, the projection, and the codependent patterns is to step into the terrifying, vast unknown of self-sufficiency. It means facing the uncomfortable reality that you do not need a relationship to be okay. It means taking full, terrifying responsibility for your own emotional state. Many people would rather suffer in the predictable misery of a fragmented love life than step into the magnificent yet demanding freedom of wholeness. To embrace Jung's truth is to commit to a lifetime of internal alchemy. It means recognizing that every past relationship was a precisely tailored, difficult lesson designed by your soul to bring you back to yourself. The person who abandoned you was simply the external trigger for the self-abandonment you were already practicing. The person who disappointed you was merely reflecting the disappointment you hold toward your own unlived potential. The entire narrative of your love life must be rewritten, moving from a story of search and rescue
to a story of self-discovery and mastery. The final, life-altering truth, the crescendo of this entire philosophy is this: the love you seek is the love you abandoned in yourself. You are the one who rejected your own vulnerability, your own flaws, your own fears. And until you retrieve that rejected self and give it the unconditional acceptance you desperately crave from others, you will forever be on the outside, looking in. The door to love is unlocked from the inside. When you stop chasing love, you stop running from yourself. And when you stop running from yourself, the universe, in the form of a conscious whole partner, will finally meet you where you stand. Complete. This isn't just theory. This is an invitation to radical self-honesty and a path to true fulfillment. It's the commitment to making your inner marriage, the union of your light and shadow, your masculine and feminine, the most important relationship of your life. Because only when you are perfectly married to yourself can you be truly available for another. Your journey toward love is not about finding the right person. It's about becoming the whole person. What is one part of your own shadow you are finally ready to acknowledge and accept today? Share it in the comments below. Begin the process of integration right now and join the community of people choosing wholeness over codependency. Subscribe for more keys to the deep self and reclaim your power in love. Let's ground this final stage of integration with a concrete vision. Picture the relationship you desire, a partnership defined by ease, mutual respect, and profound emotional safety. This relationship is not a place where you go to get your needs met. It is a space where two rivers, already full and flowing independently, choose to merge for a time, not because they need the other's water, but because the combined current is more powerful and beautiful. This is the goal of the Jungian path: to make your emotional cup so full that any love you receive is a bonus, an extension, a blessing, never a necessity for survival. The greatest hurdle to achieving this state is the lingering whisper of the inner child. This is the unhealed, abandoned part of you that still believes, on a deep, non-rational level, that it is unlovable. The adult self, empowered by integration, must become the loving, constant parent to this inner child. Every time you consciously choose self-acceptance over self-criticism, every time you allow yourself to feel a difficult emotion instead of projecting it onto your partner, you are reparenting and healing that original wound. You are teaching your oldest self the truth. You are always worthy of love, and that love starts and ends with you. This is the meaning of the ancient maxim, as above, so below, as it applies to love. As within, so without. The quality of the love in your life will never exceed the quality of the love and acceptance you hold for your own internal world. If your internal world is riddled with self-judgment, fear, and rejection, your external relationships will be a mirror, reflecting that same toxicity back to you. But when your internal world is a sanctuary of self-compassion, curiosity, and non-judgmental awareness, then and only then will your relationships become sanctuaries too. You set the standard. You are the template. Don't wait for a sign, a person, or a perfect moment. The work is now. The love is now. The most revolutionary act you can perform for your love life is to sit quietly and say, I accept all of me, the good, the bad, the beautiful, and the terrifying. I am whole. No one will love you until you understand this, because this understanding is the bridge from desperation to destiny, from fragmentation to fulfillment. Choose wholeness, choose love, choose you.
The journey into Jung's truth is a journey of radical independence. Not independence from others, but independence of the self. The final freedom comes when you realize that your partner is not responsible for your happiness, your fulfillment, or your sense of self-worth. This liberation allows you to finally see your partner for who they truly are, stripped of the heavy burden of your projections and needs.
This is where the magic of true connection resides, the meeting of two sovereign, integrated souls who choose to share their abundance rather than scavenge for what they lack. Think of it this way. The fragmented person needs a relationship like a drowning man needs a life raft. The integrated person chooses a relationship like a master sailor chooses a companion vessel for a long voyage. Both are capable of sailing alone, but the journey is richer, safer, and more meaningful together. This is the essence of individuation, the lifelong process Jung defined as becoming a complete, unique, and whole person. True love is not the cause of individuation, it is the reward of it. This final stage demands courage because it means accepting the loss of the comfortable narrative of victimhood. It means recognizing that every painful encounter was a necessary catalyst, pushing you toward your own internal rescue. It means acknowledging that the power to heal, to attract, and to sustain love has always resided within you. You don't have to chase, you only have to be. Be your whole self. Be your true self. Be the love you are seeking. The universe is waiting for you to become whole so it can finally match the magnetic field you generate. This is your mandate. Stop looking for the lover who will save you and become the lover who can accept you entirely, the lover who is you. The door to profound, authentic, and lasting love is open, but only to the one who has dared to walk the path of the shadow and emerge whole. If you are ready to stop chasing and start attracting, subscribe to this channel and join us in the pursuit of the integrated life. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into Jungian wisdom that will transform your external reality by mastering your internal world. The greatest adventure is the journey within.